Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good week so far. Happy Sunday. And we got lost in the woods during a storm for over 10 hours story time. So we were younger for this one. I remember this clear as day. We were in middle school, and what we would do anytime we didn't have school, or even if we had school, the moment school's over, we're hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you get home at 3 o'clock. Well, by 3:20, you got the group of us, like 5, 6 of us, on our bikes ready to go. And if we didn't have school, we'd meet up early, like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., maybe even earlier. Because, like, back then, dude, I would wake up early ready to hang out. Nowadays, like, if I don't have work or something to do, dude, I'm sleeping in. But back then it wasn't like that. That's why we got lost for so long, because we started so damn early. But what we would always do is just ride around our town, right? And then, we'd explore like places, like abandoned places. We'd go in woods if there were any. But around our town, it's like we know everything. So one day we decided what we were going to do is take this bike path like an hour away. Like we're going to ride our bikes for like an hour. So driving maybe what, 20 minutes, 10 minutes? Nah, less than or more than 10 minutes. But you get what I'm saying. Like we ride our bikes for an hour up this path and then we go into the woods. That way we don't know what it looks like and we can explore. Now, before we went, people wanted to, be properly equipped. We knew we were going to be there for a while. We didn't know we were getting lost, but we knew we'd be there for a while. Now, one of the dudes, he was a D-Gen, right? Like, let's say all of us, like I started partying early too, maybe 13, 14, 15. So like in middle school, yeah. But there was one kid in our group that was like the real D-Gen that always was getting fucked up from an early age. And he brought like 4 different water bottles with vodka in them. Not completely filled, but like, like 1 second, let me show you. So see how much is in here? Maybe like up to here. And he had 4 water bottles like that. So really he could have used maybe 2 water bottles and just filled them. But because there was multiple of us, he filled up multiple bottles, probably using his parents' liquor and brought it, right? Now, I wasn't a big drinker or anything. But of course, if you're with the boys, you're young, you want to look cool. So once we got to where we were going and we met up, we rode our bike. It took a while, but finally we get to where we want to go, right? The woods. And we wanted to hide our bikes because, you don't want to just leave 4 to 5 bikes unattended in the middle of a bike path. That's not a good idea. I'm not saying someone will steal them, but I'm just saying you want to be smart, right? So we were like, we're not leaving our bikes right here. So we hid them in the, like, under these plants and stuff, behind trees, just anywhere we could hide them, okay? And listen, the woods were big, but they weren't huge. They were just big. Like, my guess would be like maybe 20 acres, 30 acres. I mean, that's still big, don't get me wrong, but we weren't that scared of it because it was semi-sunny out. It was cloudy, but it wasn't like raining yet. There was no storm yet. And, we felt good. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, we didn't bring any food with us or anything, but we had a couple bottles of water. We had our speaker with music, some extra clothes in case, because we'd go exploring a lot, so everybody had extra clothes sometimes. And then those water bottles with vodka in it. That's all we had, right? So we decided, okay, we're going to go in here. And because there was like 5 of us and we wanted to explore, we were like, let's split up. We'll go in a group of 3 and a group of 2. I was in the group of 3 because I like exploring. Don't like when I'm with the boys, especially back then, I was down for it. Now, not really. I don't want to go anywhere abandoned or anything like that. Nothing dangerous unless it's like real cool looking, right? So I wanted to be with the bigger group because it's safer, you know what I mean? I was like, I want to be with the people that know what they're doing. So I was with the kid that had the vodka bottle and one of my close friends, who that's how I'll refer to him in this video. I'll just say that my close friend, right? So us 3, we start walking, we head to the right. The other 2 head to the left. Now, time frame wise, we started hanging out at like 10 a.m. I don't know what time we got to the woods. I would say like 11 to 12-ish, right? So maybe we were out there for 9 hours, not 10, but I'll keep it along. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The timeline I'll tell you guys about, okay? So we got there like 11, 12-ish. I don't know exactly what time. We split up and we start walking. Now, these woods didn't have anything cool at first. I mean, really all it was random woods, and it was like daytime out, so it wasn't scary. I mean, we had music on. It wasn't freaky, you know what I mean? There was no like scary animals, scary noises. We're just walking around. Well, after like 20 minutes, we did see a couple deer. That was like the highlight for a while. We were like, okay, we saw a deer. Well, we get pretty bored after walking around for like, I don't know how long, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. We get pretty bored. So the vodka kid is like, hey, you want some? I'm like, sure. I don't even drink. I wouldn't drink vodka now for, maybe I would for like 30 bucks or 40 bucks. Maybe even, it'd probably have to be even more than that, right? I just don't like getting drunk, and I used to drink hard stuff at parties, so I don't want to do it now, you know what I mean? But back then, it was before any of my parties, so I was like, yeah, give me that thing. And I drink some of it, and, we were young, so it didn't take much for us to start feeling drunk. I mean, I probably had like 3, 4 shots, maybe even 5, and I was feeling it, and I was young, so I'm like, we're acting crazy, we're walking around, falling over, making jokes, having a good time, right? We got the music on. Well, here's where things started to get kind of creepy because think about it. We were out there for like 10 hours. We're on like hour 1 right now, maybe even hinting, getting close to hour 2, okay? And it starts drizzling and getting darker. Now, what I mean by that is like the drizzling is whatever. I don't care about that. That's not scary. But what is scary is when we were on the bike path, it was sunny, like 90% sun, maybe 10% clouds. Now, like an hour and a half after that moment when I was like, oh, it's sunny out. Now it was dark, like not dark, like night dark, but I mean like cloudy dark, and it's drizzling, and there's a lot of wind. So it was kind of creepy. And like now, before any plans, before any driving, I check the weather. I look at the weather app. I see what's going on. But when you're a kid, you're not thinking about that really. You're just like, you ask your parents or you look at the news or something. You're like, oh, it's not raining. Cool. You know what I mean? So, but it was raining. So we start getting kind of freaked out. Not too freaked out, but a little bit. And we're like, okay, we don't have to go back or anything, but let's see if we can find the other group, the 2-person group. So we start walking back the other way, and not back like towards the bike path, but like if we went right, now we were going left. So we start walking left, and they must have done the same thing because it only took like 10 minutes, and we met up with everybody, and we had our phones, and they had service, but nobody was on their phones besides the people playing music. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, back then we were on Snapchat a lot more, so I'm sure we were getting snaps. We just weren't snapping back. But we walk around, we're drinking the vodka, so we're drunk, and we decide, okay, let's sit somewhere for a while. Like everybody's tired of walking. We're not going to walk for hours straight. But our plan was we were only going to stay for a little bit before dark and then go. So let's say, like I said, we got there at 11 or 6. Our plan, the most time we were going to spend at the woods at most was like 5, 6 p.m., right? Like 5, 6 hours, because then we still have to ride our bike an hour back, and we wanted to make sure we were in town before it's dark, because if you get stuck in this bike path when it's dark on the way back or whatever, it's horrible. It's horrifying. You can't see anything. You have to pretty much walk your bike with a flashlight because there's giant hills, and you go uphill, downhill, left, right. It's hard to see at night, and there's 0 lights, so it's a bad idea to be there during dark. So with that being said, we sat down because we were like, let's save some energy, let's just sit here for like 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour, and then we'll be like halfway through our adventure, because then we would have been there for like 2.5, 3 hours, then we'll walk around for another like 3 hours and then go home, right? Well, while we're sitting down, someone says something like, how far do you think we are away from the bike path, right? And it's not like we'd go exploring a lot and we'd get lost every once in a while, you know what I mean? But it was never scary because there was a couple people in our group, one of the people I was with, my close friend, that were like good at this stuff, like good at tracking, good at being like, oh, we walked over here, we didn't walk over there. Like we had people that were good at that with us. So, I kind of was being irresponsible. I wasn't thinking about it at all because I was like, oh, one of the other dudes will tell us how to get back, right? Well, I'm guessing what had happened is every single person had that thought about somebody else. Like, oh, he'll figure out where we are. He'll figure out where we are. Because while we were sitting there and we asked, hey, how far do you think we are around, how far away we are from the bike path? No one had an answer, dude. Not a single person had an answer. Everyone kind of had a different thought. Like, oh, it's back that way, like a mile, or it's over there, it's over there. Well, that freaked us out because not a single person actually knows where we're going. And these are, I mean, not, like I said, not giant woods, but big woods, you know what I mean? Like, it's big, and you can see through some of the trees, but once you're in it, you're in it. Like, it only takes like 10 minutes to get to a point where you can't see the bike path just because of how many trees and shrubs and different stuff there are around. You know what I mean? Not shrubs, but you get what I'm saying, like plants and stuff. So we're sitting out there and we kind of start getting freaked out, and we're like, okay, well, this time we're not going to split up. For the last like 2 hours, 3 hours, let's just walk around, right? Like, that'll be a good plan. Well, here's the problem. We start trying to walk around, like, we're like, okay, we'll explore for an hour or two, the last hour, so we'll try to figure out our way back. Well, we keep exploring, and eventually we find water, right? Like running water, like a little creek, okay? The creek was cool. They had rocks. There was like, I don't know, there's a lot of bugs over there. I'm not a fan of bugs, but some of my friends were. They're like, look at these things. These are cool. I haven't seen these before. And I'm looking, I'm like, nice. And the pond, or the creek, no, it wasn't a pond, it was a creek. The creek was cool, I won't lie. Like, it was barely running. You know, it looked pretty clean. It was cool to see. It was like nice, right? So we stood there for a little bit, drank some vodka, drank. Now, one thing that was weird is we heard noises coming from like far, far away in the woods. And of course, because we're young and we're guys and we're stupid, we're like, hey, let's go see what that noise was. And it sounded like it was yelling, you know what I mean? Like, it was like loud, loud yelling. So we keep tracking through these woods, and we're not expecting to find anything, you know what I mean? Because we hadn't found anything for like 2-3 hours. We're like, who cares? We won't find anything. Well, the noises that we heard are getting closer and closer and closer and closer, dude. And we're like, huh, what is that noise? What is that noise? Now, what we should have thought of is all surrounding us is farms. You know what I mean? Like, people have farms out in the countryside, like where we rode our bike, but we were in the woods. Now, of course, when you buy a farm, right, like the property, you don't know where the property line goes. I mean, the person buying it does, but when you're just a random kid, you're not thinking about that stuff, about trespassing, right? And we didn't see any signs. So when we keep hearing these noises, we're like, let's keep going, let's keep going. Well, we get to the edge of the wrong part of the woods, right? Like, we walked, there's no way we could have walked in a straight line over 20, 30 acres in 3 hours. That sounds crazy, right? Like, I don't think we could have done that. So there's no way we walked all the way across. But we must have walked diagonal or walked at an edge or something, because we reached the edge of the woods on a different side. You know what I mean? There was no bike path to be seen. It was just fields and then like a house and a barn way down there, right? That's where the noises were coming from. And we're like, what the fuck? This is not where we're supposed to be. But because our phones have a little bit of service, we're like, okay, let's look at the map and see where we are, right? So we all pull out our phones and look at my map. And I remember pulling my phone out, and it's at like 14%, which is bad, right? Because back then I was supposed to be checking in with my mom, making sure I wasn't going certain places, you know what I mean? Giving her updates, like, oh, I'll be home at 7, I'll be home at 8, right? My phone's at 14. I'm like, shit, dude, I can't go on my phone anymore. By this point, we'd probably been out there for like 4.5, 5 hours. So we were like, okay, well, the walk says it's like an hour and 7 minutes back. So to the bike path, not home, like to the bike path. Like, we had walked the wrong direction completely. Like, not really, because we were trying to explore, but we had gone too far. So we were like, okay, there's no path when you're in the woods, and we're not going to walk all the way around because it'll take way longer. Let's go back the way we came, go over the creek, keep going, just keep trying to walk in a straight line. And then by the time by the time we get there or whatever, then we can head back on our bikes. Well, it was still drizzling by now, but when we turned around, it started picking up. Maybe it was because the wind direction or what, but it went from drizzling really smallly to like rain, like actual rain and storming. Now, the clouds, you could see like heat lightning and stuff. I don't know if it was real lightning or heat lightning or what, because you couldn't hear thunder. But there was a lot of lightning going on. So we keep walking. It's storming harder and harder as we're walking, and someone looks at their phone and is like, I don't think we're going the right way, which leads to an argument, because 2 of my friends are like, yeah, we are going the right way. The other 2 are like, no, we aren't. And then there's me, and I'm just like, I don't care where we are. I just want to go home. You know what I mean? I was getting kind of freaked out, and I could sense that other people were getting freaked out. Plus, we're drunk. You know what I mean? We're like drunk 14-year-olds. We're kind of scared. So with that being said, we're like, okay, let's keep walking in this direction. We don't want it to get dark soon. And we all asked for some vodka, because we were like, we'll be out soon, we'll get drunk, even drunker, and then ride our bikes home. It'll be fine, right? So we bust out the vodka and we finish it. All those bottles, like we had been sharing them, sipping them. We were using them as water, dude. We were basically just using it as water because, like, how much water we should have been drinking while walking around, that got translated into vodka while we're in middle school. So, like, we're fucked up too. But, we were with friends, we're walking around, like, we're continuously moving. So, I don't know, I didn't feel as drunk as I probably was just because I was active. Like, we're walking around doing stuff. It was fun, but it was also kind of scary. And it's starting to get, like, darker because it's like 6 p.m. almost. It's raining. And, like, I know it wasn't summer because I think we had school, so it had to be like August, maybe November even, or October, not November, but October. So like it got dark a little earlier than you would think. So it's getting dark, it's storming, we're drunk, and like we have no idea where we are. We keep thinking we know where we are, but it's not going well. I can't look at my map because my phone's at like 2%. My friends, I don't know what their deal was, but their maps weren't working great. We couldn't find our way out, and we get freaked out, right? So we find another spot, like a spot that's under the rain where you're only getting rain down like 3% out of all the rain, right? And we sit there and we're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit here and like calm down. That's what one of my friends said. He was the smart one. He was like, we're going to calm down, take some deep breaths, and try to get the fuck out of here. Because, like, this is getting bad. This is getting scary. And by this point, like, I don't know what time it was exactly. It was probably, like, 6:45, 7-ish. So we had been in there for, like, 6, 7 hours, dude. And we wanted to leave now. Like, this was the point where we were like, okay, we're officially, nobody in here wants to be in here. Like, we need to get out of here. But for the last 3 hours, dude, 2 hours, we couldn't find shit. And it got to the point where we're still walking, and my friends are like, okay, I think we should call our parents. Like, I think we should call somebody because we are officially lost. We have no idea where we are. But the thing is, 2 of my friends were still looking at their maps, and, like, it said we were close. It was like, oh, look, it looks like we're, like, not 30, but, like, it looks like we're, like, maybe 300 feet away from the edge. Like, it looks like it's right there, dude. But the way we kept walking, we kept turning. I mean, not turning, but every time we'd be like, oh, we need to go over here. We'd walk over there, and then we'd check the map again, and we'd be the same distance away. What ended up happening, dude, is we must have lost connection or something, because when we were looking at the map, no one realized this until about like an hour after walking. We were staying, like, the map was in the same exact place. So while we keep walking around, our marker isn't changing. Like, we didn't change where we were walking. You know what I mean? Maybe he put a pin down in the maps, but, like, you get what I'm saying? We thought that, like, it was keeping up with our progress, but it wasn't. So we keep walking around thinking we were right next to it, but we were next to it when we checked, like, an hour ago. So we're getting scared. We're like, this is not good. Obviously, we're not panicking, but, like, I think the only reason we didn't fully panic is because we were drunk. We were, like, making jokes and stuff like, oh, we're going to have to eat you, bro. Like, we're going to have to make a fire, we're going to have to turn this into Survivor, right? Well, my phone's at 1%, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to call my mom and tell her what's going on because this isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, she needs to know that, like, if my phone dies, we get lost, that I'm out here. So I call her, and while I'm on the phone with her, I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, we're lost. This isn't good. Like, I don't think, like, we may need help getting out of here. We may have to call the cops. And I'm, like, joking, but I'm not joking. And I'm also, my main worry, even though we were lost, my main worry was trying not to sound drunk on the phone. So I didn't give all the details. I only gave a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'll be home later. My phone's gonna die, just a heads up. So she's like, okay, get home, like, soon. I'm like, yeah, okay, I will, I'm trying, right? But I didn't fully give her the information because I didn't want to freak her out too bad or anything. But I let her know that, like, we were trying to figure our way out. So I'm getting freaked out. My phone dies, which I did not like, and it's just raining hard now. Like, we knew that, like, hey, this is bad. It's dark. It's raining. Our bikes are probably soaking wet, which is the least of our worries, you know what I mean? But we're not even going to be able to ride back. We're going to have to walk our bikes. So finally, it's like 9, dude. It's like 9:04 or 9:05. Finally, one of our friends is like, over there, and he's pointing and looking, and he just starts sprinting, right? Well, if you're alone in the scary woods with your friends and one of them starts sprinting, you're gonna sprint. I didn't even know he found the way out. I just thought, oh, he's running from something. Like, there's a reason he's running. I'm gonna run too. but my stomach was burning, dude. I'm like 15 years old, 14 years old, running with a belly full of vodka. It just burns. I feel sick. Well, finally, we get out of these God forbidden woods. We finally see the edge. We get out of the woods. Well, now we can't find our bikes because we're not where we entered. You know what I mean? So we had to keep walking in the dark until we found where our bikes were. We find our bikes, and by the time we did that, that was probably like 30 minutes of looking for our bikes. It just wasn't scary because we knew we were gonna make it home, right? So we finally find our bikes. It's like 9:30, 9:40, dude. I was supposed to be home probably at like 9 or 8. We walk our bikes as far as we can until it's like, okay, it's 10. Like it's 10. We're still 40 minutes away from home. We have to ride them even if we can't see anything. So what we did, instead of all being behind each other, because we knew that might be dangerous, we did 1, 2 people next to each other, 1, 2 people next to each other, and then 1 in the back, right? Or maybe we did it the other way around with 1 in the front and then 2, 2, 2, 2. So no one had to be alone and you could see the person in front. I think that's what we did. So we ride after like 40 minutes. I get home, I'm drunk, I'm way late past my curfew, you know what I mean? Like I'm late, I'm drunk, I'm soaking wet, I'm cold, and I was freaked out because we were in there a long time, like it was scary. I get inside, dude, and I'm not gonna give full details because I don't want to out anybody in my family, but there were some heated arguments going on when I got home, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude, I'm glad I made it back, because if this is going on while I was lost, I don't know if I would have gotten found. Like, that was scary, dude. But yeah, after that, we did not go back in the woods. I was done exploring the woods after that because that was horrifying. Actually, though, in Wisconsin, I went in the woods. We explored some woods, but that was fine. That was during the day. But that was the last time I was like, I don't care if it's an abandoned place. I don't care if it's the woods. I'm done going to scary places when it's dark, because that was horrifying. And with the rain, no one liked that. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to sub, share, like, comment. Check out my other videos if you enjoyed. Appreciate the subs. Appreciate everybody, really, just watching. And if you need someone to talk to, my Instagram is linked. Same name as my YouTube. Just go there, DM me. I'll get back to you within a day or two. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Peace out. Don't go exploring the woods at night while it's raining. Bad idea.